Today, we're going to review a movie called The Substance, starring Demi Moore. Okay, so the idea is that Demi Moore is an old actress, and because she's old, they are thinking about replacing her. Actually, they do fire her, letting her know that her time has passed. And, she's not taking it very well. She's very sad about it. Anyway, so she is presented with an opportunity, however, when she went to the hospital, an opportunity to take a substance that will allow her to duplicate herself. So she can duplicate herself into a younger version of herself. And the deal is that for 1 week, she can be that younger self, and for 1 week, she will return to her old self, and she can alternate between these two personalities. And so, what happens is that her younger self really enjoys being young. And when the end of the week arrives, the younger self doesn't want to go back to, doesn't want to pass the buck. She doesn't want to give up her turn to the old self. So at first, she tried to get a little bit of an extension. She tries to stay a few hours beyond her deadline. The thing is, the young self and the old self, they are one person. So that means that if the young self wants to extend her time, it has a repercussion to the old self. Basically, the old self starts aging much faster. Her body starts to rot and all that. And whatever the old self does also has an impact on the young self. So if she eats crappy food, it will impact the young self. Anyway, what ends up happening is that the young self really goes really too far into wanting to stay alive or awake, and the old self ends up being so monstrous, so ugly, that she's thinking about ending the experiment. But she really likes the love that her young self is getting, so she has a really hard time ending the experiment and terminating the young self. As a matter of fact, however, when the young self finds out that the old self wanted to terminate her, there's a battle between the two. There's a fight between the two that takes place, and the old one dies. However, because the two of them, they are one and only one person, when the old self dies, the young self starts slowly degenerating as well. And when the young self notices that she starts then generating, the solution that she comes up with, she's thinking, well, I'm gonna inject myself with the substance that's gonna allow me to duplicate myself. However, she was not allowed to do that. It was a single use only. So when she goes and activate herself, the and duplicates herself, the creature that comes out is really hideous. It's not a better version, it's a very hideous version. And so the public really doesn't like that monster, and they end up killing that monster. And that's the end. Did I like this movie? It was very original, an original story. The way it was captured was quite fascinating. It was really a horror, suspenseful type of movie. At times, I do think they went a little too far with the gore and the blood and all that. And I don't know, maybe I would have loved a better ending, but I don't see how it could have ended better, really. So it was a fun experiment, a fun movie to watch. I'm not sure what score I would give it, maybe a 8 out of 10, maybe. It was okay. But it's a more of a, I would say it's a movie for ladies, or a movie for women mostly. It's not like an action movie or a manly type of movie.